Hello and welcome to part 14 of my rock creation series. In this video we're going to take a look at how things will look inside Unreal Engine. So what I'm going to do here first is to create a new project by using just the blank template here. And I'm going to go with the starter content. I don't really need it. No, actually I'm not going to go with the starter content, and I have no use for it. And we're going to create a Rocks101 test. Okay, so it popped up on the screen. And to begin with, let's create a folder for our little asset here. So I'm going to make a folder called test folder 03. Okay, so I'm going to start off by dragging in the low poly, the resized one. Come on, maybe not. Maybe you're just gonna import it. Here, and then just import it. So it's gonna give us this dummy material here, and if you don't have that, then don't worry about it. In that case, let's just say no and delete it and show how to do that. And then I'm also gonna drag in, I downloaded a map which looks like this, and you can easily find something similar to this just by going to Google and typing in, whoops, I have it on the other screen, rock texture tiling, and then just pick any one. I think I picked this one actually for this example here. So you want to go ahead and download that first. So I made a copy of it, so I'm just going to drag the copy in here. It's loading, I think. And we also have the normal map and the occlusion map, or ambient occlusion map, which we generated from XNormal. So I'm also going to drag those in. And you might notice I have some other maps here as well. That's for some tests I did off video. I'm gonna go through everything, so don't worry about that. So in case you didn't have that material imported, I'm gonna create a new material. I'm gonna call this IM test folder 03. And then we're gonna drag in all 3 maps and then get them laid out like this, and pop this into the base color, this one into the ambient occlusion, and this one into the normal map. So now we can just save that, and we can close it. So the rock itself here doesn't have the texture applied, so you need to select it by selecting. You can either locate it from here, it's pretty easy. Or you can, what I sometimes find myself doing is to select the material out here, and then you can use this little arrow here, so you get the texture applied. And then just hit save. So now we can drag the stone into our scene and take a look at how it appears inside here. So let's maybe align it up a little bit better. Might want to do that inside 3D Studio Max, so you don't have to do that all the time. So one thing you will notice is that it's looking a little bit glossy from this side here, and that's because we don't have a specular setting, so I'm not really sure what setting it goes with. Press 1 on your keyboard and click left click, and then hook that up in here and go with a 0 value for that. And then it's going to look like this, so it's no longer glossy. It looks pretty decent at this point, but it has a few issues which I intend to spend some time looking into. So one of them is that well, there's the lighting conditions determines pretty much how things are going to be looking. And in these lighting conditions, it's actually looking pretty decent, I would say, for this amount of work I put in it. It's looking a little bit too rounded and so on, but that's something that comes down to the way I modeled it, and I definitely want to spend some more time to create some more sharp edges and so on. But that's not really something to do with the lighting. We can just try and rotate this guy around and see how it looks. So if we take a look at if all the normal map details that we spend so much time putting in, if they are actually visible, because we definitely want to see them since we spend so much time making them. But during using these lighting conditions, it seems pretty well, and we can actually exaggerate this a little bit by using a simple overlay map inside Photoshop. So if we take Photoshop or any other application that supports layers, I think GIMP can do this as well. We can drag in the normal map, and we can press Ctrl J on the keyboard to duplicate this one, or you can just right click it down here and say duplicate layer. Duplicate layer, like that, and it's gonna create a duplicate. So now I have two duplicates, but anyway, so you just need one. So on the top layer you want to change normal blending to overlay. That's gonna create this, and you could actually just go with this, but things might get overblown a little bit, and in case they do, you might want to normalize this. And what I tend to do is to merge down, so we have only one layer with this, and then you can go to filter and under X normal, since you probably installed X normal, and you have this normalized normal map. And once you click that, it's going to normalize the normal map, so it's going to take it down just a tad, so it's not overblown or whatever. So I'm going to save this as my X normal normals, overlay normalized. So it's quite a lot of normal. So, but anyway, I think I saved it in this folder, didn't I? Let me just check. Save, couldn't complete save as document. Oh, it's being saved. There we go. So overlay normalized. So let's drag a copy of this in. And then I'm gonna drag the new normal map in with the exaggerated normals. So I'm just going to put this next to here, and then I'm going to click save so we can see the difference like that. As you can see now, the details are way more exaggerated. So it might not be what you want, and it might actually be exactly what you want. So I just wanted to point out that I find it a good way to get things to look more pronounced in case it looks a little bit flat or whatnot. So it's actually turning out to be a pretty decent rock for this minimum amount of work. So one other thing we need to spend some time on here is the actual material, because the material is in this form it's super simple, but you can do a lot of stuff with the shader, which is what people refer to this as. It is a shader, but yeah, it's a material, whatever. So one thing to note here is that if we get really close to this, we can actually see things start to get blurred out a little bit, and that might not be exactly what we want, since we want this to be looking really nice and detailed, even close up. So what you can do is open up the material, and you can set this material to be tiling, so only the albedo or the base color map, set this to be tiling. So you can type in texture coordinate, and then hold down M and click to get a multiply, and then for example multiply this by 2, so it's going to tile 2 times, and then hook that into the UV node here. So if we now take a look at the texture really close up, we can see it's gotten a bit more detail. Let me just bring that out of the way and then unhook. So I'm unhooking this one, so we can see the difference. So if I save this, whoops. This one. Okay, so if I save this without the tiling, and then I hook it up again, and then I save, and we see it gets way more detailed. And depending on the size of your model and so on, you might want to tile this up even more, but only to a certain extent, because after a number of times it starts to get show some repetitionness, something, and then it starts to look really ugly instead. So you want to check your things from a distance also, to see if things still look okay. And there's a few ways you can check this kind of stuff here and make it look good both close up and at a distance. So I'm not going to go into details with that in this video. Just wanted to make a very brief assertion of this model at this current state. See how we can get this stuff here in that we just worked on, and yeah, in my opinion, get a pretty decent result out of such little work. So that's it for this video. We're going to continue in the next. Actually, before I continue or end this video, I want to direct your attention to the bottom of this rock here. So if we zoom in a little bit on this and take a look at where the seams were put on the rock, we can see the seams here. And if it's lying on the side here, it might not be noticeable. But in case you want to use this for all kinds of generic stone formations and so on, you want to have this sometimes be lying on this side maybe, and that will kind of expose that seam. I think we also had a seam somewhere on the side here. It's kind of difficult to see actually. It's pretty well hidden with this. If I turn down the tiling of this just for a moment and hit save, we might be able to see where a little bit easier where the second seam went. Because I can't honestly remember where I put that goddamn seam now. Oh, here it is. I see it. There we go. So yeah, want to do something about the texture seams definitely for this. So that's also something I'm gonna spend some time on, but that's something for the next video. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope this was useful, and see you next. Bye bye.